A 2019 Reader's Choice ranking of the nation's best zoos by USA Today named the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Gardens the top zoo in North America. So we're so happy to have this top-rated zoo in the great state of Ohio, but even more lucky because we get to talk to the zoo's director, Thane Maynard. Thane, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for calling in. I know we aren't together here at the zoo, but when all this clears, you'll have to come down and visit us.
Oh, I cannot wait. Thane, can you remember another time when the Cincinnati Zoo was closed for this period?
You know, I don't think that that's been the case, to tell you the truth. I've looked through the zoo's history, and though we've had plenty of ups and downs since we've been open ever since 1875.
I know a lot of businesses right now obviously are closing, but one thing that doesn't close are animals. So what kind of staff does it take to be at the zoo and take care of the grounds and all the creatures that you have?
Well, the great thing about a zoo is that everybody that works here really loves the mission of the zoo and the animals at the zoo. So half our staff is here on regular hours. You know, all of our animal keepers, our veterinary team, as well as all the folks that prepare the food in the morning, as well as most of our facility team to make sure that all our systems work. Zoos are more complex places than they used to be, so keeping everything going is really important.
Wow. So how are you entertaining visitors in their homes right now to still make sure they're getting great content from the zoo?
You know, one difference in this pandemic and any other that's ever happened in history is social media. So people have a lot of time on their hands now, and through social media, we've been able to reach millions of people. We do Facebook Lives every single day at 3 p.m., and they're a lot of fun. And what really makes them work, I think, when I see them, is they're not scripted. There's no spin. It's not a marketing piece. It's an animal's caretaker and the animal. And what comes out is their love for that animal, their intense knowledge of everything about that individual animal, and the fact that, you know, people go the distance to make sure that our critters get all the care and the feed they need.
Absolutely. Now, how about new animals, maybe some new babies? Are you sharing them virtually with visitors too?
In the midst of this, we have had some new babies, and of course, nothing's more popular than a baby animal.
Right.
So we've had everything from the craziest looking bird called a turako, that when it is an adult is so pretty. It's blue with a red mohawk. I'm telling you, when it first hatches, you think, how could that weird looking ugly bird turn into that beautiful adult? A lot of baby birds are very premature when they hatch and therefore not as attractive as they're going to be when they're grown up. Speaking of prematurely born, we also had a joey born, a little wallaby. And of course, it'll stay in its mom's pouch. People love seeing that, but really they just love hearing the real life stories of the people that are here working, caring for animals.
You know, I have to ask, how's Fiona the hippo doing? I mean, she's world famous.
I'll tell you, Cameron, Fiona might be the one animal at the zoo that really does miss the crowds.
Yeah.
She was raised hands-on by people for months at a time, with her 24/7 when she was prematurely born. So she really does relate to visitors. She'll do photo bombs. If you go over to the glass to take a picture, she'll come bombing right up. When the keepers are on the side doing some training, she comes right over. She really is very people focused, much more than any other hoofed animal I've ever seen at the zoo.
Now, Thane, you're also an author and a host, so tell us about your role as what's called a chief storyteller at the zoo.
Well, that's a nice nickname, and it is the job of a zoo to tell the story for wildlife and what it will take to protect wild areas. And I've been fortunate over the years to do that in a lot of ways. Probably the highlight of that is a few years ago, I was lucky to co-author a book with Jane Goodall called Hope for Animals and Their World. And of course, Jane is the most respected wildlife biologist in the world and has taught us so much over the last 60 years that she's been involved, originally in Gombe and now all over the world. And I've also been lucky to host a show now for 37 years.
Wow.
On NPR called The 90-Second Naturalist. And it's, as its name says, a minute and a half of animal trivia and little bite-sized portions of how nature works. And that's been a lot of fun to do.
Well, Thane, you're doing incredible things in the world of education and conservation. How can people that are watching help your zoo at this time?
You know, people have been very generous, and it's a case of little donations really mount up. If they watch our Facebook Lives, those are at 3 p.m. every afternoon, there's an opportunity to contribute, and thousands of people have done that. Just a small donation, but again, it's been amazing how much support we've gotten. You can also donate through the zoo's website, which is cincinnatizoo.org. We work with a local t-shirt company that's been involved with the zoo a long time, ever since Fiona was born. and they put out a special T-shirt that says, "Our zoo is a keeper," and it has a picture of Fiona on the front. And through that, they're donating some funds as well.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and give Fiona a big hug from us up here in Columbus when you can.
I will indeed. Thanks, Cameron.
Thank you. To visit the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Gardens virtually, just go to their website, cincinnatizoo.org. More zoo info coming up next.